There's no doubt about it. Finding time for yourself, your career goals, and your job search is so hard. We have families to take care of, bosses to answer to, and not to mention your commute to work takes hours. When you come home from work, you are exhausted and all you want to do is veg out because you have already worked too hard for the day. So you don't want to work on growing yourself and achieving your career dreams because you are just too busy. You are busy accomplishing other people's goals all day to have the time to even make a dent in your own goals. You lack the time for you and your passions. The irony in this, though, is that the more we push away our dreams and our goals, the more stressed, frustrated, and unfulfilled we become as we get farther and farther away from our true calling and our passions within each day, week, and then the year passes. I know, I've been there too. And that leads to fear of the future, fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of putting yourself out there and being visible, fear of asking for help, and fear of making a mistake. I know I could go on and on about fears, right? I'll tell you how to conquer them, but first let's talk about how to actually make the time to work on your passions. I remember the exact day when I went from letting my calendar control me to stepping up and taking control of my own calendar. I used to be a people pleaser and would say yes to everything and would feel major guilt when I let someone down by not attending something. Other people continually booked meetings on my calendar that I did not really want to go to anyways. I had meetings with friends who were negative, but I didn't really enjoy being around them, but I didn't want them to feel bad, so I didn't say no. I had networking events every night on my calendar I thought I should go to, but didn't really want to. I would hit the snooze button a million times and then have to rush my shower, rush my breakfast to make it to work on time while gushing down some coffee on the way. Then I would get to work and be crazy productive working on what other people needed me to do, or answering whatever email came in until crashing at about 10 a.m. and counting down the hours until I could leave. Then finally about 4:29 would come. I would bolt down the elevator and jump in my car. I'd hit traffic and be so angry. I'd have to stop, pick up dinner, quickly scarf down the meal since I was starving, and finally be able to catch up on the latest of The Bachelorette or whatever somewhat entertaining show that was on to help me forget about my life and just veg out and not think about anything important except the poor guy who didn't get a rose. I would dread turning off that television and going to sleep because then I would have to repeat the same day the next day. My calendar was completely in control of me. Then fast forward to the day that I decided to make a change. I had had enough. I knew there was something more for me in this life. This frantic and unhappy flow of life was not what I envisioned when I graduated college. So I'd heard of some other people online from podcasts I'd started listening to who actually woke up at 5 a.m. So why couldn't I try that? So that first day was tough, but I got up at 5 a.m. and put a good solid hour into writing my blog and reading a personal development book. By 6 a.m., I was a different person. I was ready to tackle the day. I didn't care that I had to go to a job I hated because I had moved my career goals forward already that morning. I felt empowered. I felt on fire. I felt like I could do anything from 5 to 6 a.m. and no one else could tell me what to do with that time but me. So I challenge you to consider how you can take back control of your time too. Can you wake up earlier? Can you start saying no? Now, the first time might not be super easy, but you will get the hang of it. Think about this. Do you want to be spending your best hours right when you are fresh first thing in the morning working on someone else's goals? To this day, I know that the only way I can reach my career and business goals is to get up early. Unfortunately, these days, that time spot has now moved to 4 a.m. to have enough time before my daughter wakes up, and then suddenly the day gets busy and I do the tasks that need to get done, but not the tasks that are crucial and important for my self-care, well-being, and goals. The items that I try to do every day in my morning routine are meditating, praying, journaling, making a green smoothie, exercising, reading, reviewing affirmations, visualizing, devotions, writing in my gratitude journal and my success journal, and writing in my mom's journal with my daily thoughts and memories of my daughter. And if I have time, recording a video or writing a blog post for my Facebook fans and my blog readers, because that truly is what makes me feel happy helping other people. If I can do this list and help someone else before 8 a.m., that is a very good morning. Can you see how empowering this routine is and how just 15 minutes doing a couple of these items can change the momentum and course of your day? You might think you might be more tired waking up earlier, but you will actually have more energy to take on the day and may even be so excited about what you're working on in the morning that you will want to get right back the second you get back from work instead of watching TV. And that leads me to tackle the second thing, holding most of us back from our dream careers and dream lives, and that is fear. Fear can control our lives and keep us from achieving our unique purpose in the world. It's that voice in the back of your head pushing you down and reminding you to just stay stuck because you couldn't possibly be anything more. It's also about insecurity, uncertainty, and lack of control. To get over these things, the very first thing I always do is hand it over to God and stop trying to be in control. And then I ask myself these 3 questions. 1, what is the worst thing that can happen if I go after my goals? 2, what is the best thing that can happen if I go after my goals? And 3, is it worth it to go all in? I will give you an example. When I used this 3-step model less than a year ago, my business was steadily growing, but I needed more help. I had a 6-month-old daughter, and Grandma helped once a week. And even though I woke up early, I was barely hanging on because I knew I needed just a little more focused time each week to really make my mark and have my goals happen. I love being a mom to my daughter. It's my favorite job. But I also know I have a calling like we discussed in the first video, and I'm unhappy and unfulfilled if I am not working towards that calling and helping people find careers they love. So I was unhappy since I was not devoting enough time to my business. And here's when things got really scary and my fear came into play. My husband and I decided that the best step to take was that he would quit his job and become Chief Operating Officer of our company. So I could focus 100% on the tasks I enjoyed so we could streamline them and be happier, and then we could both spend as much time as possible with our daughter. But it was really scary. We walked away from his salary and benefits, and of course, everyone thought we were crazy, especially our parents. But the worst thing that could happen, we realized when we asked these 3 questions to ourselves, was that our business would not go as planned and we would both have to get jobs again. The best thing that could happen was that our business would take off, we would make even more than we both had with our salaries, and we could travel around the world and spend more time with our daughter. And then we asked ourselves, was it worth it to go all in? And guess what we said? Heck yeah! So what is the worst that can happen if you go after your career goal? And then what is the best that can happen if you make the time in your day to control your calendar and really make it happen? And here's the pivotal question. Is it worth it to go all in? In a few days, I will be opening up a limited number of spots in my best-selling program. But here's the best part. I have been running the same program for 3 years. And just over the last 2 months, it got a major overhaul. My team and I have worked so hard behind the scenes updating every single video lesson, worksheet, and the entire membership site. Love Your Career Formula 2.0 is here. It will be opening very soon, and you'll be the first to know so you can push your fears and doubts aside and go all in on your dreams and goals.